All right. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another live stream. Second live stream of the day. This one's going to be short and sweet and straight to the point. We're putting together our personal 661, aka Big Bertha. So it needs a new piston. It also needed a top end, but I have managed to be able to clean up the cylinder sleeve. So at this point, it's just waiting for a new piston, and we'll get it one shortly, or soon, I should say. But for now, I want to get it put back together so it doesn't look all bare, and I don't have all of its parts laying around, and so it looks kind of like a saw. So, hey, we got Grayson in the house. All right. So like I said, this one's going to be short and sweet because I have just about an hour before my girlfriend's sister comes home for lunch, and the last thing that I want is for her to walk in and see a chainsaw or a workbench made out of her kitchen table. So let's get it going. Also, realize that I don't have the clutch, the needle bearing, the sprocket, rim sprocket, and worm gear. So I must have left that in the shop. So I need to, when I go back, hopefully maybe this weekend, I need to go and look for that. Because as of right now, we're going to put Big Bertha together without it. So again, Grayson says make sure to put something on the table where it doesn't scratch it. No, yeah, definitely. So I have my, we have our mat, our shop mat down. My favorite. We have our steel mat down to make sure we don't scratch up her table. And so yeah, because the last thing I need is to leave any evidence that a workbench was made out of her kitchen table. And so like I said, I have a little less than an hour before she gets home. So right now what I wanted to do was remove this piston just so I could mount the cylinder a little bit better until it gets a new one, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out right now with the tools that I have, so that might be an issue. Actually, I might be able to do it. Double O says, well, back to SawWorks. What happened to your saw? So yeah, man, so I pulled some stuff out of the shop this last weekend. We went to go pick up some stuff. And so right now all I'm doing is putting Big Bertha back together. It still needs a piston, but I just want it to look like a saw. So right now I'm doing my best to hurry and get it put back together before my girlfriend's sister shows up for her lunch break. And the last thing I need is for her to walk in and I have a workbench made out of her kitchen table. So I'm missing, I must have left it behind. I'm missing the clutch, the clutch bell, the rim sprocket, and the worm gear. And I'm waiting for the 4 screws to mount the exhaust cover. But that's going to come in hopefully sometime this week from the shop that I ordered it from. And so for now, I'm going to just try to get this piston off so I could just put the cylinder head on. And then once the cylinder or the new piston comes in, take off the cylinder and then mount this. So let me look for a hammer. And I know I said we were going to look inside the carburetor to see how the metering diaphragm looks, but there's just no time for that right now. So, but we'll tear it back down another day. I had plans to do this outside, but we ended up getting some rain today, so we can't do that. So Fred Goldust, much love to you. That's an interesting comment. All I can say is they smell clean because I wash my clothes. Double O says cook piston. Yeah, so this is Big Bertha, the one that I picked up for 800 bucks. It's pretty much a brand new saw. Put some new pieces on it, like new shroud, rewind starter, filler caps, air filter cover. We put the West Coast clutch cover on it, and I'm gonna end up putting a Egan straight shot on it once we get that, and then modify the muffler a little bit more. But it needed a top end, but I managed to be able to clean up the cylinder sleeve. So I just have to get a new piston for it because it's way too short to be able to clean. So, but I'm gonna just put it together so it looks good and put together. But I'm missing a few parts that I left behind. So 1 second, let me get this. Okay, so let's see if I still know how to put a saw together. I feel like it's been such a long time, but let's see if I can get this piston out of here. Or at least the wrist pin. Or not the wrist pin, but anyhow. I should do it from the opposite side. I don't know if that's gonna do it, but we'll see. Okay, that might not work. Shit. Okay, let me waste some time and look in my tool bag to see if I have a tap. Okay, so I did remember to bring my little tap here. It doesn't feel weird working on saws, but it's been a couple weeks and but yeah, man, hopefully you guys are doing good. If you guys were here earlier, appreciate you guys. And either way, I appreciate you guys. Okay. Oops. Okay, just a little more. So again, I'm missing the clutch bell, rim sprocket, worm gear, and the clutch, and the needle bearing. I thought I brought that, but apparently not. Apparently not. All right, there we are. All right. And you know what? I think I'm gonna... Oh! I'm not missing the worm gear. It's right here. Come on, guy. Get it together. Let's just put that in there. I'm not going to install the boot because I'm going to have to pop off the cylinder head, and that's just going to be one less thing. So let's just go ahead and leave that on. Either way, I'll put our base gasket on. I believe goes this way. Oh, and I should have brought my, hold on a second, one more thing. Okay, so I need my T27 because your regular T27 on the scrunch won't go all the way through the cylinder. Let's see. Oh. So it looks like I'm missing, and I think I ended up using it for another saw, but I'm missing one of the mounting screws. So 3 out of the 4. So when I go pick up the screws from the shop where I ordered the exhaust casing screws, I'm gonna have to see if they have these ones in stock. And normally, if this was a typical, well, not typical, but if this was a, oh, I have the base gasket upside down, or reverse. If this was an actual reassembly, I mean, it is a reassembly, but if this was like a reassembly to go out and run it, you definitely want to put some Loctite on your mounting screws. But this is just a reassembly to just have it put back together so I don't have parts laying around everywhere. But you definitely want to use Loctite on anything going into metal. And then this weekend, because I do need to go pick up some other saws, I'm going to go pick up my 200T, the other 2511 that I have at my buddy's container at his yard, and then I'm also gonna pick up Alonzo's 440 so I can finish that up for him. It needs a new piston. He already has the piston, so we're not back into a shop. This isn't where I'm gonna be working on saws, but like I said in our earlier live stream, we have to keep the show going, man. We got to just find the way to get it done. And the only reason I'm even rushing right now is because my girlfriend's sister shows up around like 1:05, 1:10 for lunch. And she was already nice enough to agree to let me stay here for a short time until I find a place to stay. Or better yet, until I have enough money to move into the spot where I found. And if she were to walk into this right now, ooh. But the thing is, I could wait to do this later, but I want to do it right now. Because by the time she leaves, it's 2 o'clock, and that would give me another like hour and a half, and then my girl gets off of work, and then, you know, we got to spend, you know, we got to make time for everything and everyone. So if I were doing this outside, I wouldn't be in a rush, but we ended up getting rain today, so we're doing with what we can. Okay. So top end is on. Boom. At least we had the worm gear, so that's good. And let's go ahead and put on the suspension. So let's see, what screws are those? But yeah, I hope everybody's doing good, man. Okay, so I'm guessing that's the one that goes up there. Right on, right on. And again, we would be, going into metal on top of the cylinder head. And my bad that there. So this goes at the top of the head of the cylinder. That would be going into metal, and that's when I would put some Loctite, but this is going to get taken apart when we get the new cylinder, so I'm not going to worry too much, but the best thing I can do right now is advise that you definitely want Loctite. Double O says, so you're just assembling your saw to not lose parts. That, and yeah, because I don't want to get the parts all, I know it sounds kind of silly, but I don't want to get these parts all scraped up and scratched up, or potentially, yeah, lose parts. These are all brand new, so brand new air filter cover. I have a new shroud for it, and then brand new rewind starter, which I'll show you guys in a second, and then West Coast clutch cover and West Coast dogs. All those parts I already had laying around when I got Big Bertha, so I figured, why not just give her a little cosmetic facelift? It's already a really nice saw. I haven't cleaned it yet, so it hasn't gotten that good old cleaning yet, but this is how I got it. So they only had it long enough to basically cook the top end, and I got a killer deal on it. I still would have bought it for the original asking price of what they wanted, $975, and I talked them down to $800. And I saved money on the top on the cylinder head because I cleaned it up. So I just have to spend a little money on a new piston, and that's pretty much it. The only other thing that I want to do to it is a little timing advance, modify the muffler as far as the actual muffler, and then I'm gonna put an Egan straight shot on it because I really like Egan's mufflers. I like West Coast as well, but I think the Egans have a, and you guys will hear me say this often and probably have heard me say this, but I feel like Egans have a slight upper hand on performance when it comes to mufflers. And I really do believe that. And that's pretty much the goal. Gordy's, though, if we're talking just appearance, man, his mufflers are beautiful. His bark boxes. But yeah, man, so essentially I'm just reassembling it to not lose any parts. And I kind of miss seeing it assembled. All right. And these are definitely not the inner screws. I'm pretty sure I need those also. Shit. Okay, so I'm gonna have to buy those as well to actually mount the muffler. I must have used those for another saw, because that's what this was kind of being used for. Repairs would come in. Oh, that's why I don't have the clutch and the sprocket. I just remembered, because I used the original clutch assembly, so the clutch itself, sprocket, rim sprocket, for another repair, and the needle bearing. So I actually don't even have that. So I'm gonna have to buy a whole new clutch setup for Big Bertha, which is fine. That's cool. Oh, that's for the rewind starter. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. See, that's how long it's been since I've messed with Big Bertha here. So let's go ahead and put the handle molding on. lockout lever. All right. Let's put the carburetor on. Okay. Not gonna lie, I feel kind of, it's amazing, you know, going from working on these every day to haven't worked on a saw in what, at least 2 weeks. I feel a little out of place, man. I'm not even gonna plug in the fuel line, connect the fuel line, because that's gonna come back out. Well, everything is gonna come back out, so I'm not even gonna connect the wires, because these are all gonna get pulled out, because I still have to put in the boot. But I didn't, oh, there goes the lockout. But I'm not gonna put the boot in, the intake boot on, because that's gonna be one less thing that I have to do when the piston comes in. All I have to do is remove the suspension there, and that's it. But I just want to get most of it put back together. Double O says, do you have a friend with a lathe to make more squish? Would be awesome. I do. I know somebody back out in a town called Casadero. I was actually just talking to him today. He runs a little saw shop. Just for himself, on the side. It's his side hustle. I believe he's an operator. He's like a logger. He's like in the logging community and whatnot. So let me just put this in a little bit better. So I could probably just send it over to him. And then of course there's the man Aaron. That would just require me sending it out to him, which I definitely would, because you know that man, he does amazing work as well. What am I trying to do here? But yeah, more squish would be pretty sweet. More squishy. How did I even... Okay, well, you know what? We're not going to get hung up on all that, because this is all going to get taken apart again. Oh, man. Okay. But really, I would most likely just send it out to Aaron. Nothing against the gentleman. His name's Travis. But I don't really... I haven't seen any of Travis's saws run. Not to say he doesn't do good work, but... so yeah, I'd most likely just send it out to Aaron. That's what I would do. Okay, so fuel lines are not going to get connected. The M-tronic wires are not going to get connected, because it's all going to get taken out again. And at least for now, let's go ahead and get this mounted up. Wow, that lockout lever. All right, let's get this put in. Sweet. do need. Okay, one more tool. And at this point, I don't even know why I'm rushing anymore, because we're pretty much about done, but it's already 12:36. IBS Win is asking, why are you doing that inside? Good question. Because the original plan was to do this outside, not in the kitchen on the kitchen table. But we ended up getting some rain, or we ended up getting rain. And so doing it outside is not really, it's not an option right now. So I am hurrying to get this done before my girlfriend's sister gets home for lunch, which is in about, maybe 20 minutes, which we're about done anyways, but and it's not a full assembly, because I just remembered that I ended up using Big Bertha's clutch drum, rim sprocket, and needle bearing for a repair. So what the backstory to this 661, which is our personal 661, I ended up getting it on Marketplace. It needs a top end. Well, at this point, it just needs a piston, because I was able to clean up the sleeve, so remove the scoring that it had. And so it just needs a new piston. But the reason I'm putting it back together is so that way it looks like a saw, and also I don't run the risk of losing any parts, even though everything is in a plastic bag. But I don't want anything to get damaged, as far as like the air filter cover, the West Coast clutch cover, anything like that, because all those parts are brand new. I had those laying around when before I even got Big Bertha, so I just gave her a little cosmetic facelift. Although it's a very good condition saw. The person that had this saw, like I said, I think they just had it long enough to smoke the top end, and I got a killer deal, because they originally wanted $975, which I still would have paid for it at that price. But once I found out that the top end was cooked, I talked them down to $800, even though I felt kind of bad, because $975 would have still been a killer deal. And I haven't even cleaned it yet. This is how they sold it to me. So it hasn't even gotten cleaned yet. I know you guys didn't get to see the carburetor box, but it's freaking clean, man. It's nice. And so right now, before doing part of the reassembly, I took off the piston, so that way I can just mount the cylinder head. And so when I get the piston, I just have to pop the cylinder head off and go from there. And I can't mount the muffler right now, because it looks like I am missing one screw, and then the 4 screws that hold the exhaust casing on. And then I'm not installing the intake boot, because that's just one less thing that I have to remove once the piston gets here. And so at this point, I just have to put on the rewind starter, which it also got. So brand new rewind starter. I guess that's one of the great things of buying stuff that you don't need. So I just started buying all kinds of parts when I was working at the power equipment shop that I was working at, where I got started. And I kind of already had the vision of starting up a shop, so I just started buying all kinds of stuff. And so I had a brand new rewind starter, brand new air filter cover, brand new shroud, I already had the West Coast clutch cover and dogs. I have a bunch of filler caps, brand new. Some of them still in brand new packages. And so I gave it brand new filler caps, the ones with the blue O-rings, which I've heard that those are the better ones, which I don't know if they are or not. Not gonna put Loctite on these either right now. But you should put Loctite anytime going into your crankcase or metal. Let's see, and I believe these are the other screws. And at least it'll look like a chainsaw at this point, but the great thing is that Big Bertha won't be sitting in this state for much longer, because obviously since it needed a top end, I haven't been able to hear it run. I mean, I've heard 661s plenty of times, but as far as Big Bertha, our personal 661, haven't been able to do so. Okay, so there it is. Except for the exhaust, and there's the rewind starter. Oh my God, it's got no compression. Okay. And I just have to mount the dogs, which I went yesterday to pick up the hardware. Almost $1,000 for an old saw is a ripoff. 00 says this saw is going to be a beauty. I agree, man. I agree. IBS said though, almost $1,000 for an old saw is a ripoff. I mean, I guess it depends on, you know, who you are, but I would say that that is not true. But again, to each their own opinion. These saws brand new, they go for what, like $1,700 depending on where you get them, maybe upwards of 18 potentially. And I got it for $975, and all I'm gonna have to invest into it is maybe what, like less than 200 bucks. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. To me, I guess. To me. Plus, I already had the West Coast clutch cover, the dogs. We're going to do a little timing advance on it. The only thing I'm going to have to invest in also is the Egan straight shot, which that's going to be, I think after shipping and tax, it comes out to like $92. So, okay, so I invested 200 bucks into it. Minus 800 bucks that I paid for. Not too bad. Not too shabby. G30 Nate in the house. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Man, it's coming down. And it's windy. Says, don't listen to him. You do you, my bro. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you. And no, man, no, it's no offense taken. IBS, you know, he's a friend of ours. He's been around the game. It's just, you know, I don't mind people speaking their opinion. I mean, it just depends on who you are, you know, like, you know. But no, IBS is cool, man. IBS is cool. And even if it wasn't IBS speaking their opinion, it's all good, man, you know. But no, I'm juiced. I was juiced, man, because I still would have bought it for $975, even with the blown top end. I was just lucky enough to be able to save the cylinder sleeve and clean it up and get rid of the gouges that it had and the scoring. The top end though, the piston, it's too far gone to be able to clean up. So I'd have to take off a lot of material from the piston and then plus new rings. So at that point, it's just not even worth it. I'd rather just buy a new one. Which, for those of you that remember, I was really just thinking about getting a Meteor piston just for now, just to do testing but might as well go OEM, but we'll see, because the Meteors I think are still what, like $60 or something like that. I'm not sure how much they are, but not as much as an OEM. Brand new bar nuts that come with the clutch covers. I just need the little guides that go inside the clutch cover, but we can worry about that once we actually start running a bar and chain on this thing. I do have spark plugs, so I'm going to put a spark plug in just to protect the inside. Well, it's going to have the shroud and the air filter cover on it. Plus, it's going to, there's no, never mind. We're not going to do all that. All right, let's see. Let me go grab a flathead screwdriver. Oh, I already had one right here. But yeah, no, once we clean it up and everything, like Double O was saying, not to sound full of shiza, but it is going to be a very, I mean, it already is a really good condition saw, and it's going to be a beaut. Famous words of Double O. This is what the original air filter looked like, or looks like, that I got. I mean, yeah, it's dirty, but it's not horrible. All right, and there she is. Well, just got to get the muffler on and the clutch assembly, like the clutch bell, the clutch itself, rim sprocket, get its new piston in there. We were going to look into the carburetor, but just because time is kind of up the essence right now, we're not going to do all that. I'm looking for that little, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, let me, just real quick, let me get rid of this evidence off the table. I'm just gonna put everything in this trash bag, and then I'll just show you guys Big Bertha. We'll step outside, because it's actually not raining right now, but just to give you guys a closer look, I'm gonna just throw everything as it is into this bag, because we still have a couple of minutes to kill, but you never know. She might take lunch early, and she might get home early, and then, I mean, your boy's gonna be out on the street. Well, maybe not, but still, I don't want to piss anybody off, especially when they're already doing me the favor to live here for a little bit. Okay, let me take this out to the garage. Let me move this outside. Oh, sorry about that. Double O, I'm not ignoring you. I see your comment. Okay, let me move this outside. Let me finish cleaning the table or putting it back together. And now that I'm out here, it is wet outside. I thought it was pouring, but the table itself is, I mean, it's pretty dry. The chair is super dry. So that means it hasn't rained in a little bit. So I probably could have been out here this whole time, but I also just wanted to get this live stream going. But 1 second here. Yeah, definitely could have been out here for a little bit because it's not raining right now. So, hey, we got first gen in the house. What up, what up, what up? Really windy out here. We're not going to be out here for too much longer, but just so you guys can see a glimpse of Big Bertha all put together, since this is something I haven't seen in a while. And for those of you that have been following along, you guys just keep hearing about Big Bertha, but you haven't actually seen her. Or it's not a human. It's an anonym. I'm not going to say that word. It's an object, so it's not a she. So you haven't seen it, but this is what it's looking like. It's missing the muffler because I don't have the hardware yet for it. And it's also missing all of its clutch assembly. So like I was saying, the clutch bell, rim sprocket, the clutch itself. I did have the worm gear still. It needs a needle cage bearing or a needle bearing. And it still needs its new piston. But as far as the air filter cover, the shroud, the rewind starter, filler caps, it's all brand new. I had those parts laying around a long time before I bought Big Bertha. And then I also had the West Coast clutch cover. But everything else, as far as the outside, is new, except for this plastic piece and the handle and the tank housing. So but that's the saw that you guys have been hearing about, that it just needs a piston. And so I bought it for $800. They originally wanted $975 for it, but I was still working at the shop, at the power equipment shop that I started off at. Oh, now it's raining, starting to rain. And so I had him come over to the shop, and I went outside and checked it out and finally looked inside, and it was all scored up. So I talked him down to $800. So all I'm gonna have to invest in is the Egan straight shot, a new piston, and then new clutch assembly because I used it for a repair. But other than that, man, this saw is in really good condition. I haven't cleaned it up yet. So that's all original dirt from when I got it. So that's a clear sign right there that this saw wasn't ran very much. Even if they cleaned it up before they sold it, it's still cleaned up really nice. So the plastics are still pretty white, not faded. And so it's gonna be a ripper for sure. So the only plans that I have to do, that I want to do to it, is modify the muffler, put the Egan straight shot on there, timing advance, maybe port it. That'd be pretty cool. But for now, just those small little things. And then that's pretty much it. I had a plan of getting into the carburetor just to see what the diaphragm looked like, but just because we're on a time crunch right now. But we'll get into that maybe after my girl's sister leaves. Either way, there's something else that I wanted to do today too, which was go through some new some parts that I brought from the, or some of the stuff that I got from that I brought back from the shop that I still had left. Just like inventory stuff and just see what all I have. I still have some more stuff that I need to go pick up, but it's not anything too urgent right now. And so yeah. And IBS, my bad. Or excuse me, Double O. You're asking what bar I'm gonna run. So this came with a 36-inch non-light bar. The chain that they had on it was almost like new. So maybe they got the chain, ran it, and it was, I think the saw may have been on its way out, so they didn't use much, use up the chain much. And what else? So it came with a 36. I might run a 32 on it, but really, I mean, I don't know. It could really run, this thing can run, the 661s can run up to a 42-inch chain, or 42-inch bar, 404 pitch. I've set them up like that before. And it pushes it, moves it just fine. All right, Grayson, much love to you, man. So I might run a 36, 32. I think 32 is a good, I guess it just depends on whatever, it just depends on what I end up using it for. But I mean, a 661, that's for some big wood. So probably 36, 32. Maybe the smallest I'll probably go on this is a 28, I think. So, hey, we got Jasmine is a baddie in the house. If you guys didn't know, Jasmine is a baddie. Jasmine, much love to you. Happy Wednesday. Good to see you. Jasmine says, a lot of so's. Sorry I haven't been here. It's all good, Jasmine. No worries. I understand that we all, that everybody has a life, and it's all good. It's all good. You're here now, so that's all that matters. And Grayson says, okay, so see you next time. But yeah, no, glad everybody can join in for a little bit, even though we're done as far as what we're going to do is just put Big Bertha back together. Again, our 661, this is an M-tronic version, so it's the 661C. So it has the electronic carburetor, self-adjust, self-everything. But it still has gaskets, metering diaphragm, just like normal. It also has a solenoid valve. And it still needs a piston, a brand new piston. I managed to be able to clean up the cylinder sleeve. But the piston is so far gone that to even try to clean up the scoring, I'm going to have to take off a lot of material. Plus, it needs new piston rings, so at that point, you might as well just get a new one. I'm just waiting for the muffler screws. Right now that we put it together, I realized that I need the two that actually mount it onto the cylinder. I must have used those for a repair also. So, but I already have the 4 on order for the exhaust casing because it's a 2-piece muffler. And yesterday I went to go pick up the hardware for the outer dog, and then just its clutch assembly, and that's pretty much it. So, but this saw is definitely in good condition. Haven't cleaned it up yet. Haven't ran it because it needs a new top end. But yeah, let me go ahead and put this saw away because she's about to go home for lunch, and I don't want her to be like, "What the hell is going?" Not that she cares. Everybody knows that I'm a saw guy and I do my thing, but I try to be out of sight, out of mind. It's a good policy. So let me just put this away. But one more look just before I go, or before it'll come back out though. Maybe a little later we can look into the carburetor just to see what condition the metering diaphragm is in. So 1 second here. So yeah, so that's basically it, guys. That's it for now. Kind of a short live stream, but I'm just glad that I managed to be able to put Big Bertha back together. It's nice to see it all nice and, like, I would say 95% put back together. For the next live stream, I still want to plan on doing that today, just to go through a bunch of stuff that at least it's saw related. So slowly getting back into the saw work. This week or this weekend, I plan on picking up my 200T just to have it here ready to go, to get that all dialed in, especially now that we have the pressure and vacuum tester fixed and working again. Test the oil seals, but it definitely needs a carburetor. And then pick up the 2511 from storage, and then pick up Alonzo's 440, so I can finally get the poor man saw done, because he's had the brand new piston now for a little over a week. But then the whole transition took off, and saw work had to be on pause, which it still kind of is. But like I said earlier, we have to keep the show going and try to find a way to just get things done. So and then whenever the power equipment shop here calls me that the hardware's here, then go pick that up and finish putting together Big Bertha as far as the exhaust or the muffler. So yeah. 00 says, damn nice, I can't find a decent bar longer than 24. Yeah, you could always go 28. 28's a good size, I feel like, or 25, IBS says, sorry if I said something wrong earlier. I wasn't trying to put everybody down. No, man, not even. No, dude, it's not even like that, man, at all. I promise you, you're good. It's just, it's a matter of, we all have our opinions, and that's all you were sharing was your opinion. And but you're definitely not in the wrong at all. It's not like you were on some weird stuff or some like disrespect stuff at all. It's not. You were just speaking your opinion, which that's always more than welcomed here. You guys already know. You guys already know how we get down. We keep it real here. At least do our best to, and the only thing that we don't really like too much around here is super weird, like actual disrespectful stuff. We don't really like that around here too much. And I think I speak for most of us. So here's what I have going on. So good old crocodile wipes, you guys already know how we do it there. This is a brand new carrying case. I do want to sell it. That's the reason why I got it, was to resell it. Oh man. little crock wipe. We'll square that away. So this is the Woodsman case. There's the part number in case anybody needs it or wants it. But for right now, it came in handy to store the 028. I got this through a trade, practically got it for free. It's a beautiful saw. If you guys know, the 028s are great saws. This one's in really nice condition. This one hasn't been cleaned up yet. This is exactly how I got it. All original. There's different variations. So this is the Wood Boss AV. So this is one of the last variations that were sold, I think, before they discontinued them. There's also a Super, which I would like to add one of those to the collection one day. Same saw, it's just a slightly bigger displacement. So I'm guessing brings a little more, just slightly more weight. And this saw does run. This saw does run. It just needs some carburetor work, some clutch work, and it also needs a new, it needs some chain brake work. But yeah, the 028, I really like the throttle on this guy. So it's just been chilling in there. And then this is everything that I want to go through. This is all my new stuff that we have, just like inventory, and I have a few more things upstairs. Well, that's not brand new. That's the bar for the 200T, but everything else is just inventory that I have for the shop. Some leftover stuff like the inner dog for a 261. Brand new dogs. Actually, Big Bertha's original dogs, and then a used, I think it's the inner dog for a 500i, and then a brand new dog for a 201. And then everything else is new. 661 clutch cover. I think this is a rewind spring for a 201. Some catalogs, Bailey's catalogs. A cool, a couple of steel coloring books that I got from Napa Power Equipment at Treetopia last year, which is the power equipment shop here. My steel dealer books, so everything that you need to know. We'll go through it all. I have a bunch of stuff that I just want to take inventory on and see what all I have left. So that's for another live stream that I want to do. I wanted to do it right now, but there's just no time to do it without rushing. So, and then we'll go through the 028 at some point. So this carrying case will fit a saw. It'll fit up to a 500i, but it will not fit a 661. You need the bigger case for that. Really nice case though. All right, guys. So I hear the car. My girl's sister's home, so we're gonna cut it and let her have some peace and quiet for her lunch break. And we'll see about coming back in a little bit afterwards. But I appreciate everybody being here. Much love to everybody. As always, thank you for all the continued love and support. And until next time. Peace.